What's up?
Hi.
What's up?
Not much.
Oh, nice. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, it's so... Thanks for being here with me.
You're welcome.
I was so surprised to see you. I had no idea that you'd be here.
This is such a serendipitous moment.
Allie, I want to stop screwing around and I want to get into today's topic.
Oh.
I just want to get into it.
Get into the problem.
Yeah.
What's instead of what's up, it's like, what's the problem?
What's the deal? So today we're going to talk about a problem. And today's problem is pressure.
Oh.
We're going to talk about sinus pressure.
Okay.
Water pressure.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not talking about any of those.
Society's pressure.
Society, the pressure of the man.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Of our parents.
Yeah.
Just whatever pressure. Whatever pressure comes to mind, it's a problem.
We're talking about pressure and...
Diamonds are made under pressure.
That's what I'm talking about. That's my heart.
I know.
I was recently, and I talked about this in the last episode, at Flyover Fest, and two of the poets, or spoken word artists, whichever they prefer to be known as, were talked about diamonds in like a way that I was like, I want to tattoo that onto my arm immediately.
We should make it our logo.
We should. We did that already.
Oh, we did it. Good.
Okay, so today we're talking about pressure.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about pressure, kind of owning a business, doing your own thing, starting your own stuff.
Yep.
We'll talk about it maybe creatively when you're trying to like stand out, do something a little different.
Yeah.
Trying to make a client happy, trying to take care of your own pressure.
Yep.
We're going to talk about owning a business, talk about
Financial
maybe
pressure.
Some family member doesn't understand how you're going to get health insurance if you do your own thing.
Bonus. It's not bonus.
Bonus, you can just buy it. It's not hard.
It's not a bonus. It's a bonus section. Listen to the very end, and we're going to tell you a bonus secret.
A bonus? No, we won't. People, we'll tell you how to get secret free insurance.
No, I just meant like a regular secret.
Oh.
Just keep listening.
Okay.
You're going to love it.
We're talking about pressure today.
Okay.
When you started freelancing on your own, actually, let's go way back for you.
I'm transporting myself.
Let's go back into your high school years.
Yes.
What kind of pressure, when you were making art and starting your first paintings, did you feel pressure? Do you feel like... In what way did you feel pressure? Was it from you, yourself,
I felt pressure
teachers?
from myself. I feel like I had the kind of raw talent. No, I'm laughing at myself. I feel like I had the kind of skill set that no one else put pressure on me about, like, because they couldn't do it.
Right.
So I didn't have a parent who was like, I could have been a painter, so paint.
Right.
But I put a lot of pressure on myself because the pressure that I was receiving was like, you should enter this contest, you should enter this competition. And I would do like live painting competitions or like submit work. But I put a lot of pressure on myself to win. Like, if you don't win, what, like, who are you?
Right.
So I had a lot of pressure. I don't think anyone would ever have been disappointed in me, but people's enthusiasm made me feel like there was pressure.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it wasn't like a negative thing,
Right.
but it probably translated to negative.
That makes sense. And then as you got into college, started working on your own, you started doing digital stuff. How did it change? Did that, like, where did that come from? How did it shift?
Not a lot of people understood how it translated. Like, I think that they liked that I was doing something creative, but they didn't understand it as much as they understood painting.
So the family and friends who had saw you paint all the time and fell in love and supported that and they just got excited about that.
Yeah.
Now you morphed into doing things on the computer. This was in
2007.
Yeah, around that time.
Yeah, 2005.
Right.
The pressure that I felt in college was more like, why are you on your computer so much? Or like, it wasn't this the thing that was on display when I was creating design. So people, whether they were family or friends, like loved it when I would paint for hours. But if I was on my computer, it just felt like pressure that I was like letting people down.
Like you were a person, you're like, oh, you're just obsessed with Facebook. And you're like, I'm
for
working
sure.
right now.
And I was for sure obsessed with Facebook. I mean, we just got it,
Right.
but I didn't let them know that.
Right.
But I just think in general, it was also just this it's not always pressure that is literally getting passed down onto you. You're like misinterpreting things. So
Right.
you're thinking like, people are disappointed in me, or they're like mad, or, they don't get it. And that's the same kind of pressure that I still face today.
Right.
Like
You've
10
even
years
talked
later.
about how doing the 100-day challenge right now as in a blogging capacity versus a painting capacity is that when you're doing it, it just looks like you're working.
Yeah.
Like when you're doing email, when you're whatever.
Yeah, it's not like I look more pensive or I have like a paintbrush in my hand when I'm blogging, cueing to society or the people around me that like I'm being creative. Even if I had like a notebook out and was writing, it'd be different.
Totally.
And so, but I put that pressure on myself. But I also, I'm pretty intuitive and I can pick up on how people generally feel. So, yeah, the pressure that I feel now, I think, is very much I put on myself.
Definitely. Talk about dealing with the pressure of making something for a client that is they've asked for, and we've gone through meetings and we've talked about something kind of specific, like we learn about them and they kind of give us a feel for the type of things they like.
Yeah.
But then also they don't always see sketches before you present logos to them, right? Or a website to them. Is there a pressure in how you present that, or in that actual like first review session where you're like, all right, here's this thing I've been working on?
Yeah, there's a huge pressure. I present all of my work, so there's always that like slight pause before they start sharing what they think. The pressure that I feel is more, to be totally honest, sometimes it's more like, I don't want to have to redo this. Not that that would be a part of it, but there's a pressure of like, I have this chance to get it right. The great thing is we give our clients options. So usually it's, you're not just like, this is the one thing. But with websites, we very much kind of narrow it down to one design and present it. And so the pressure is definitely like, you just invest a lot into it and you hope that it works out.
I still get excited / nervous / all of those things whenever we do that. And we've gone through a process enough that you're like, this works. People get super hyped.
For sure.
But still, you're like, maybe this person
For sure.
won't, or something.
Yeah. And I think being excited, it's contagious. So if I got up and I presented something and I was like shaking and like my voice was quivering, like there's a chance they don't feel like I'm very confident
There's a
in
chance.
what I made, you know? So there's that pressure of just, I think that temporary pressure of, I don't want to have to deal with this if the client doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Let's be totally honest. No one wants to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
There's the pressure of, I want to make sure that this is not awkward. I want to make sure that they're excited. Those are very like self-centered pressure that you put on yourself. You know, like it's not really thinking of others. It's like thinking of yourself. And then there's the pressure of actually helping someone and delivering.
Let's talk about the haters. Well, not the haters, but maybe the people who don't understand.
I wish I knew more about my haters.
I know. I can't even.
If you're out there.
Yeah.
Send me an anonymous
Send us like
message.
explain what you don't. Just explain your thoughts.
Because I actually think knowing about the haters can be good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So what about them?
But so the times where you felt like people didn't support what you were doing, or didn't like really buy into what you were doing, or were like, oh you're doing your own thing. Here's a job opening listing that you need.
Yeah.
A lot of people who I talk to who are doing their own stuff, or they're starting to.
They face that.
It might be cute when it's like a side thing, or when they're like, oh, I go to a farmer's market and sell my muffins or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I'm going to go leave my full-time stable job to start a bakery. Family members, aunts, uncles, grandparents, parents come out of the woodwork and say things like, are you sure? How are you going to do this? Like, how do you deal with that pressure?
Yeah.
Or how have you seen people deal with it in a positive way?
What does Beyonce say? the best revenge is your paper.
Yeah.
For me, I don't think I didn't grow up in an environment where people were discouraging.
Right.
They were like, they would ask questions like in a passive aggressive way, like, so how do you get insurance? Like, I had never thought about it. And, you know, or like, if you don't go to something, like your friends like are like, oh, maybe it's like, do you need us to cover your flight? And you're like, no, I actually just don't want to go.
Yeah.
So like little things like that I think if people sense like maybe there's not like enough income happening, like they could send you a job opening or, you know, I think a lot of it is like the wording and positioning, almost like you would as a brand, like versus I think I'm going to try freelancing to I'm going to start my own business.
Right. I think there's some validity to their fears.
Yeah.
In a sense of
it might not work
it's
out.
kind of like there's a lot of crazy people who are nuts who start their own thing or try something or do something. And we all know people in our life who are just like jumping around being like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm starting like 800 different things that none of them work. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But when you do something, you also get lumped into like that genre.
Yeah. And sometimes like time is the only thing
Right.
that will change someone's opinion or, you know, last episode we talked about our studio. And I think that while it is funny that it's just like you just took on more overhead, there is a validity to, well, you must be doing okay.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't sign on to get a studio, hopefully, if you were not making enough money.
You're like, I'm so successful that I get to go into the office at 9:00 every night and sweep.
Yeah.
You know, like
I've made it.
I've really made it.
So, you know, if it's like sharing, even if you don't want to just open up your books, you could say something like, I'm actually making, you know, 25% more than I did at my job.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I've gotten really honest with some of my family members about like how much money we've made in the past. And I think that it helps ease their worries.
Stress, yeah.
It's not that you're bragging. It's just like, I can take care of myself.
But that's the thing I think people are really concerned about is that you're not doing enough or like it's not working. And what I've watched happen in us doing it for 5 years, you've done it for longer than that, but together for 5 years is when we started, it was like, okay, you guys are doing this thing.
Yeah.
And now later having friends, family members, people who are close to us start to share they weren't and aren't happy in their jobs.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think when you start to do something you're actually happy about and not just do it, but make it work as a business and become successful in like, you can pay bills and save. You can have all of the benefits you would have at a full-time job financially.
Yeah.
When you can have that stuff going on, it inspires other people. They're like, oh, this might be possible. I never knew this was possible. This seemed crazy. If they don't come from a family or a network or a generation that did a lot of that, that it's going to be difficult for them to kind of understand what's going on.
Yep.
And I think you can, if you stay persistent, work through that and just get better. Like do a good job because it's going to open up doors, inspire, help other people maybe take a leap and go do their own thing if you can do a good job of yours and share the story of it.
Yep.
The only other kind of pressure that I had a note to talk about was pressure of like industry or competition. But if you want to talk about that, you could probably do a nice Google search of Allie Lehman competition and your recent article about.
Yeah. Why I'll help
I just sent it to a potential client who was like, oh, I know you work with a lot of other people in that industry. And I was like, yeah, it's like I'll help all your competition.
Yeah. I recently saw a friend tweet about kind of that like pressure from within the industry. And I have very much like removed myself from that. And it's really freeing. So if you're out there listening and
Do you feel like you've removed yourself or transcended it?
Transcended.
I know.
That sounds better.
Doesn't it sound better?
Yeah.
Avoided it.
I know I really have kind of removed myself from it.
Right.
You know, yeah. Which is good.
I think so too.
Yeah.
There's some battles you don't even need to play, let alone win.
Exactly.
And winning it doesn't get you anything.
Right. Speaking of
battles, winning?
no, let's listen to someone from the Diamond membership, which is filled with a lot of people who do what we do.
It's a lot of our competitors hang out.
Photographers, designers, and it's awesome.
Hello?
Hey Taylor, it's producer Michael.
Oh, hey, Michael.
Hey, yeah, I was wondering if you could introduce yourself to our listeners and then tell them a little bit about what the Diamond membership has been like for you.
Sure. My name is Taylor, and I am the woman behind Familiar Folk, which is a home goods and apparel shop that offers vintage, secondhand, and handmade goods. So far for me, the Diamond membership has been really good for the content that has come through the portals. My favorite part is actually the Facebook group because there's a community of like-minded business people, all coming from different kinds of backgrounds. So if you post a question, typically somebody will reply with an answer to your question, or at least a suggestion to get you started, or you can even bounce ideas off of people. So that's been really helpful so far.
Are you ready to gild the lily?
I'm always ready to gild
You know what I
the
think?
lily.
Every time I pour a ton of everything bagel spice on my food, that I'm gilding the lily.
That's like, and the way you do it is that. Yeah. I can even tell when I see you do it that's your intention behind it.
It's like, this meal's already good, but I'm going to gild the crap out of it.
Gild the crap out of it.
What do you want to... I think we have our
we're
topic.
going to talk about a place that is gilded,
Yeah,
actually,
for sure.
right?
There's this bar in
There's
Columbus.
this bar, and we went to it
When did we go?
to celebrate the arrival of my brother.
Yes, last week.
Not like he was born and we took him to a bar, but like he moved to the city.
Welcome to the world, Ben Lehman. So we went to one of our favorite restaurants is Veritas, which is downtown Columbus.
Right.
It's on Gay Street.
Yep.
And we went upstairs to their bar, and it's like an old bank.
It says Citizens Trust on the door, but if you Google Citizens Trust, you don't see anything.
Interesting.
And if you try to tag it on Instagram, it
There's
doesn't show
nothing.
up.
Yeah.
So you have to use Veritas as that.
Yeah.
And so you'll see a lot of, when you walk in, I think it's an old bank. Yeah.
It's
seemed like
gotta
it
be,
kind of
right?
was. It had
It's
like those like
something
slatted
old.
gate things. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I think it was definitely a bank.
When you walk in, when you just open the door, there's like gold encrusted marble
Something.
just
Yeah.
everywhere.
We sat at this booth that was so big that I felt like I was in a fishbowl.
I felt like we were in a. Oh my gosh!
Vortex?
I can't think of the name. This is a book with the rabbit. Follow the White Rabbit. Alice in Wonderland.
Oh.
I thought we were inside of like some like
Oh, yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
sized thing.
Even like the bartender was very like animated. I feel like he could have turned into the White Rabbit and like had
In
a
5
big clock.
seconds.
Yeah.
Or Mad Hatter.
We are. Oh, is that who that is?
Mad Hatter's like
Oh, yeah.
the Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
He's a Hatter. He's mad.
True. No, actually, yeah. He could be more the Mad Hatter
Yeah, that's why I said that.
than the White Rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just really Britiful.
It's like a Brita
was gonna
filter, but better. That bar is so good looking.
It is beautiful.
It's-
The ceilings are very tall.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And everything is incredible.
The drink that I got, I forget what it was called.
Start with a W.
Yeah, because I
We
couldn't.
only had one, so it wasn't like
I
you're not
couldn't
forgetting for
pronounce
that
it.
reason.
Tasted like what I always think like buttered rum should be, but
Yeah.
it's bourbon. It's a bourbon-based drink. It tastes like they somehow got like what I even think butter should taste like. Like it's a better
Yeah.
tasting butter.
It was incredible.
Go there if you live around here.
Right. Go there just to take an Instagram picture
Yeah,
or
it's really
something.
pretty. Because when I first started seeing pictures of it, I was like, "Where is that?"
It's huge.
Yeah.
And the bar is such a small percentage of it. like
And it's still a big bar.
almost comical.
So check it out. Tell them you want that drink. You'll know it when you see it.
Starts with
delicious.
a W. It's delicious. And it's just so gilded. I can't even think of other gilded things to talk about.
We'll include a picture in the show notes.
In the audio.
In the audio. See? Look at it. Thank you for listening.